Yeah, well, Coach, good to see you. Thanks for opening the post. Obviously, first week of fall camp starting to end. Obviously, like this tomorrow. What did you just see else you can go walk?
I really enjoy their energy, and I think that they are a group that really enjoys practicing and competing together. They're fun to be around. And today was a good day. We pushed them harder with the periods of practice. We went a little bit longer than we have. It was a first real competitive day in top half. So just to see who was going to push through, who was going to continue to have good energy, and then what guys we're gonna fold throughout practice.
Andrew Bowlby with WAB. Are there any positions that you're looking at specifically that might be the furthest along so far through camp?
I think our DBs are really good. I think we have a lot of returning players there that are really talented. So that's been a great group. Obviously there's the quarterback room, I think, is really strong, and there's two guys that played a lot of football for us. So those are definitely ones that have a lot of experience.
Yeah. Coach Cam Robertson, Athens Messenger, you talked about how the DBs are a more experienced group, but your front seven on the defense side of the ball, you got some new faces in there. How important is fall camp trying to get those guys activated for a tough start to the season?
Extremely important. Yeah, there's a lot of new faces, especially in the D-line. And we've been really happy with who those guys are, how they approach the summer, and how they're working in fall camp. And that's the fun thing with D-line is you tend to play a lot of guys, and I think we've got a really good group that's going to be productive for us.
The running backs are another it's kind of hit hard. Obviously, that year's going back. I'll find it. Puts guys at 40, obviously.
Yeah.
Going back. It's fun to support that to start playing.
Yeah, it's a really good room. The thing that's always interesting with running backs is you'll have maybe 6 guys in a room, and there's one football, and everyone wants to touch it all the times. So you can have guys that are extremely competitive and aren't very supportive of each other. They enjoy being around each other. They're helping each other. I think CA's done a really good job with his leadership coming back, having a good understanding already what we do. And then Duncan, who played a decent amount for us last year as a freshman, is really older because he's an international transfer. I think is very mature, has a lot of good leadership too. And then Dorian's been a really nice addition. He just played a lot of football just somewhere else.
Yeah. And then also another group that are the special teams, a lot of new faces there. What have you seen from the special teams groups the first 2 days of camp?
I think David's done a really nice job being accurate in his kicking. I think we've been happy with the strength of his leg, and we're continuing to roll a bunch of punters and making sure we're getting those off on time.
We haven't talked about the pass catching group so far. Obviously, you guys lost Coleman when he graduated. He did a lot of that work last year, but you've got guys that were in the program. What are you kind of looking for from them to take a step up through fall camp and at the beginning of the start of the season?
Yeah, you're always looking in that group of who's going to be the guy that's going to really be your playmaker. Who can lean on to make big plays for you, and so there's a lot of guys that are getting a lot of reps. There's a lot of guys in that group that played a lot for us last year. Chase Hendrick moving into the slot, I think, shows what we think of him and what his potential is. But Max McCarthy has done a really nice job. Obviously, Rodney Harris played a ton for us last year. Is very veteran and is a great leader in that group.
In terms of the new guys, whether it be freshmen or transfers, has anyone stood out to you through camp?
There's a ton that have. Yeah, we have, I think it's like 45 or 50 probably new players within the program. So there's a lot of guys that have been doing a lot of good things and showing up these first few days.
The 2 guys that are coming back on the offensive line, well, Shen obviously coming back to the program this year, and obviously
right.
Gabe got coming back.
Sure.
What have they meant to the O-line so far? Those 2 guys with experience here, just kind of getting them up to speed.
Yeah, the leadership is important. When you have guys that can communicate really well, that other guys can lean on when they're playing next to them, I think is great. And I think that just have a good understanding of what you do offensively, what your culture is, how we want guys to play, how we want them to approach the game. You have guys that can lead and also lead by example.
Obviously now, under a month till the season starts, what are you hoping to see, or what area, I guess, of the game are you hoping to see the most growth before you guys play Rutgers?
I think just our overall execution has to continue to improve and grow. I think I love our energy. I think we'll continue to develop how hard we play and what our personality is going to be, but just our execution in all 3 phases. We want that to continue to get better.
Yeah, and kind of bouncing off that, you guys play 3 power conference opponents right out of the gate. How does that type of schedule to start off your season accelerate how you guys kind of move through camp execute?
It really doesn't accelerate any differently than if we were playing anybody else. And we're going to install what we have to install. We're going to work to make sure we're executing at a high level, and that really doesn't matter who the opponent is. I know our guys are extremely excited to play against power forward opponents and have won a lot of games here and are very confident.
Cool.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate you.
All good.
Yeah, sure.